Support for WYES is made possible by Mary Lou Kristovich in memory of her husband, William Kristovich.
Good evening, I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, John Kemp, art columnist for Louisiana Life Magazine. Welcome back.
Hi.
Hello, sir. Hi. Poppy Tucker, she's back, host of the radio program Louisiana Eats, airing twice weekly on WWNO Radio. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Peggy.
And making his Steppin Out debut, Earl Hampton, streetcar historian and author of The Streetcars of New Orleans, 1964 to the present, and one other guidebook as well. Welcome, Earl. Good to see you.
Nice to be here.
And Earl, excuse me, not Earl, but Dennis Assaf, executive and artistic director, as well as co-founder of the Jefferson Performing Arts Society. Nice to see you with lots of good news. I'm looking forward to that.
News,
yeah. But first up, Miss Poppy.
Well, I am so excited about a place that I found that's a little bit of a journey, but it's worth the trip, and that is Wayne Jacobs' Smokehouse in Laplace. Now, don't be confused. It seems like everybody and every tourist and their brother knows that you can get off that Laplace exit, and right there on that main strip, they even have a 4-story andouille sausage dressed up like a man. That's not where you stop, okay? You have to continue on. As a matter of fact, I would suggest you GPS it, because you've got to go over the railroad tracks. It's on North 5th Street. It's a little, but it's very close by. It's not really out of the way. Well, let me tell you why it's so good. My friend Jared Zarang, who I have known for a long time, he grew up in the area. He's from Vacherie. He has, as a matter of fact, Restaurant Vacherie. There's Jared, and there's his partner, Matthew Moreland. Well, this is the old smokehouse that everybody in Laplace and that surrounding area has always gotten their andouille and other meats from. It is so delicious. There's a lunchroom. There are so many things you have to know about this place. First of all, weekdays, you can have lunch between 11 and 2, and of course there's just the most incredible gumbos, both chicken andouille and seafood gumbo. He does these crazy things. I don't know. It's sort of like, you know, when you've got really great Cajun or Creole food and you do a twist to it that's never been done before, and you think, well, why has this never happened? How about andouille chips? Now, all he does is he slices the andouille thin and then flash fries it. They get a little crispy. You dip them in Zatarain's Creole mustard. Holy moly. And then his hog's head cheese is the most meaty, delicious stuff, and it comes hot, mild, and smoked. Why nobody's never smoked hog's head cheese before, I have no idea. They have smoked chicken, ribs, brisket. They make a smoked chicken salad that's just outrageous. And if you're not a meat eater, it's okay. You can accompany the meat eaters there, because they also do thin fried catfish. They do the very best stuffed crab I've had in a long time. On Sundays, a great reason to go. They serve brunch starting at 9 a.m. You can have deviled eggs with bacon. You can get bowls of grits with roast beef debris or shrimp and grits, or you can mix your own with andouille and bacon and eggs and cheese, and they come with a crackling biscuit. How about boudin or stuffed crab Benedict? $7 cocktails, bottles of wine, just $20. And he's got this whole little farm going there. There's exotic chickens running around in the back. So you can bring home cartons of beautifully colored eggs that are just laid that morning. There's sauces. The meats can be shipped anywhere. Important thing to know, Tuesday is Cracklin' Day, the only day they make them. But they shrink wrap them, which I don't know why nobody thought of this before, because they start to deteriorate once they hit the air. So if they're shrink wrapped, you can put them in the freezer. They'll probably be good next year as long as they're unopened. So make the trip to Laplace to Wayne Jacobs' Smokehouse. You will thank me for this one, I promise. Then, everybody bemoaned the loss of O. Henry's when it went away way right there at Riverbend. There's a new restaurant in its place called Batcher. And even if it is, I want to introduce you, Peggy.
Wow.
This is my new grand pug. Her name is Millie. There's outdoor seating at Batcher, so you can bring your little dog along
good
too.
news.
And it's really a Creole soul food and fried seafood house. Their frying is really good, greaseless. The great fried calamari, wonderful oysters. That was a crawfish potato gratin with Cajun boiled potatoes and cheese fondue. Oh my goodness, it was wicked. They do some adventurous things, like they have a tuna batcher, which is ahi tuna, seaweed salad, and sriracha aioli. That is a wicked fried oyster BLT with sweet potato fries. It was delicious. They've got gumbo, etouffee, red beans, jambalaya. It's a great place to take visitors on the streetcar.
And a great location.
You can sit outside with your little dog too. And then one more news flash that, we've all followed the saga of Mezzato. Would it be Mezzato? Would it not be Mezzato? Well, we all know now that it's going to be Zia, another Zia rotisserie and bar, which is now in the 20th year of that particular brand from the Taste Buds. The place is going to reopen on Pontchartrain Boulevard Tuesday, September 12th.
Oh, okay,
And
so
for
Tuesday.
Mezzato lovers, you will be very happy to know that only at that Zia's, you're going to be able to get your favorite things you always loved. The tableside guacamole, the rotisserie duck tamale, the tuna tiradito, and the cucumber jalapeno margarita.
So they've incorporated some of the menu
Yes,
from
so
Mezzato.
just a
Good.
little handful of the favorites.
Smart. The ones that worked really
Exactly,
well. Well, very good.
exactly.
Well, thank you, Miss Poppy. Yeah, we're turning to...
Believe me, I paid dearly for it.
So, John,
Yes, yes.
lots of doings downtown in the Warehouse District and elsewhere, too.
Right. Well, we're going to talk about the contemporary art world in Louisiana today. And we have actually 3 shows and 1 pick later. But the first one, actually the first 2 at the Ogden Museum of Southern Art downtown on Camp Street. One is the Louisiana Contemporary. It's now in its 5th year. And what it does, it's a juried show, and it represents contemporary artists from all over Louisiana. This year we have 56 artists chosen from about 400 artists who have submitted their work. And unlike traditional art, where what you see, your imagination interprets what you see. Contemporary art is your imagination interprets what you feel. So you're dealing with a lot of social issues, a lot of political issues. And Louisiana is particularly interesting because you're interpreting a lot of the cultural aspects of Louisiana, like the baby dolls you see here, and the painting of that, and other paintings and photographs dealing with Cajun Mardi Gras and other scenes like that. But we're dealing cultural, political, and social, and all medium. Could be media, multimedia with video, collage, sculpture. But one of my favorites is coming up now. This is by Mitchell Godet. This is one of the statues that he retrieved after one of the churches drowned in Katrina. And he's done this whole series. This is called Ecstasy. And there's tremendous religious overtones to this thing. He does wonderful work in his gallery down in Araby now. So that's a really good show to see. It's every year, and they're doing a great job in pulling this thing together. The second show is just down, which actually the next floor down. It's called The Colorful South, and it's featuring the photographs of 4 nationally renowned photographers who have gained recognition for their color images of the rural South and these sort of decaying small southern towns. Bernie Imes, William Christian Berry, Alex Soth, and William Greiner, who was a New Orleans photographer but now living in Fort Worth. One of my favorites, though, is Bernie Imes, who lives in Columbus, Mississippi. Back in the 90s, he did this in fact, he's still doing it now. It was a wonderful series of color photographs of the juke joints of the rural South, particularly Mississippi. Actually, these kind of ghostly images of people shooting pool and playing music and dancing to that music, and really good photographer. But they're all sort of students of William Eggleston, who really gained the national reputation for his color photography, moving color photography to an art form in the South. And the third show is at the Jonathan Ferrara Gallery on Julia Street. It's called the 21st Annual No Dead Artists International Show.
Love the title, huh?
I juried one time. I was a juror one time, and I was still alive, so
Yes,
I got to participate in that
good
one.
news.
But they have there were 13 artists chosen from 500 artists entering 2,500 works internationally, and among those 13 chosen were two artists, two New Orleans artists, was Tony DeGrade.
Oh, the musician?
Yes,
Yeah.
and yes, right, and Joseph Isaiah Walton. So his work was chosen too. And again, so you see the Louisiana Contemporary, you see what's going on in Louisiana. The 21st annual, No Dead, you see what's going on in the world in contemporary art. And then later on, I'll tell you about another one that's going on too.
Okay, Ferrara sure has embraced New Orleans.
He has. He's done a great job there, and he's got a good
God bless
crew
him.
down there. He's done some nice work.
All right, thank you. And New Orleans Magazine quiz queen Julia Street has a question for us. Last time, Richard Ritzy Rue named the battle where Texas won its independence and who led the Texas troops. That was the Battle of San Jacinto and General Sam Houston. Now tonight's question. A major literary figure who spent much time in New Orleans also divided his time in this Florida town. Name the person and the town. And we wish well our friends in Florida right now. Please send your answers to Steppin Out at WYES.org. Our prizes. We have a tote bag with the message sitting on the docks end of the bay from our friends at WearableVegetables.com. Also, a $50 gift certificate from our pals at Kitchen Witch Cookbooks on Bayou Road. They'll be hosting a book signing party tomorrow featuring David Capello with his new bio and John Schwegman from noon to 2. Also, there's a barbecue and vegan pop-up in conjunction with Bayou Road's Second Saturday series. Another prize. A New Orleans Public Service Transit Token, how perfect, T-shirt, as worn by WYS Associate Producer Burke Bischoff. And go to NewOrleansPublicService.com to see the new T-shirt line. And you can also go to WYES.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of events, including a book signing by Price Ainsworth, that's at Garden District, on Sunday at 2 p.m. You can also link to our WYES YouTube channel to view our program. And now, Earl, to start off your piece. Do that, raise it up a little bit. What are you ringing this bell? What is that?
That is a conductor's bell.
Oh, streetcar
And-
conductor, of course.
Right, those conductors were in the back of the streetcar and signaled the motorman when it was time to go with two bells. One bell for a stop at the next stop, and 3 was an emergency stop.
Oh,
like if the pole
okay.
jumped off or something.
Well, I know we could talk for a very long time, and as I told you,
Ages.
I already want you to come back. Okay, but to start with, how many, at its sort of penultimate time, how many miles of track did New Orleans have?
227,
When
and
was
that was
that?
in the 1920s.
Well, many of us remember Canal Street being very busy because that was sort of the terminus, for the
Right,
lines.
exactly, yeah. The foot of Canal Street was the terminus for a lot of lines, like the 2-lane belt used to come down to the foot of Canal Street. And the West End car, which, you know,
Yeah.
I
Now,
know
when we
that-
talk about the West End car, and we'll be showing some images of all of that in just a second, but when we talk about downtown, I mean, all of us, downtown Canal Street was just bustling, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
With the Canal Street streetcar line, but so many others, you know, and
right.
West End. Now, tell us about the route of West End. It was long, wasn't it?
It was very long. It went all the way from Robert E. Lee and West End Boulevard down along the canal, made a left turn at Metairie Road, and then a right turn at Canal. And it was, from what I wasn't around when the West End was operating, but I was told it was a very fun ride to hang out the window and catch the breeze, and the motorman would open up the controller to notch 8, and the car would be rocking back and forth, and it was.
So it was kind of a rickety ride.
It was a
wasn't
rickety
it?
ride, right? Exactly. So,
That
but,
color photo is
look at that.
incredible. Now,
That-
when was it discontinued?
1949.
Wow. But yeah, there are people who would remember it, but definitely. But, you know, back to Canal Street, when I think about even today, thankfully we're so blessed because we've still got St. Charles, and Canal, of course, returned in 2004.
Right.
But when you walk across the neutral ground, as we certainly like to say, there, you know, you got to be careful. You got the tracks, but there used to be so many more.
Right. We have 2 tracks, which are basically, they put those back in and mimicked the ones they took out in 1964. But at one time there
Canal,
was 4. And the magazine line, say, for example, would come out of Camp Street, turn on the canal on that 4th track, and then go back up Magazine. Same for the Claiborne car, would come out of Rampart and go back up St. Charles. And the opposite side of Canal Street, the Franklin and Desire would come out of Royal and go back up, back down Bourbon Street. So,
Yeah, gee whiz. Yeah, and Desire, when was that discontinued?
1948.
And of course, Mr. Williams was here in New Orleans in 1946 working on a certain
I think
play.
I have a photo of him riding a Desire streetcar.
Wow.
which
Oh,
is
yeah.
pretty
Oh, I think when they
incredible.
had a
It's a famous
Desire,
one, yeah.
yes, when they had the Desire streetcar, a streetcar at the French Market, there's a great photo of him in it with Don Lee Keith. Yeah, that's a great photo.
It really
We'll
is,
have to
yeah.
bring that next time. Once again, the Streetcars of New Orleans, 1964 to the present. Pelican Publishing.
Pelican.
Now, there's also a book that's about earlier streetcars by Mr. Lewis Hennick, isn't
Right,
there, too?
that's correct.
So this was the sort of the companion volume.
It's a
that you
dovetail
did.
work to his.
Yeah. And I was delighted to hear that you also have the Streetcar Guide to New Orleans. And I remember originally, was it Peter Rarup and Lou Costa? So this was sort of an updating of that?
It's exactly what
That
that
you
is.
did?
All right. I basically tinkered with their tour and then used most of it, and then did one for Canal, one for the Riverfront, and one for Loyola. That book was published before Rampart came in.
Okay, so now you have to do another
I
update.
did an update to it for
Okay.
Rampart.
Well, it's great to have you, and want you
Thank
back
you.
for more stories, okay?
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Great to see you. And now it's time for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are featuring artwork by the late New Orleans painter Martha Wright Ambrose. This is Jack's Brewery. And an exhibit of her artwork will be featured at the Atrium Gallery in Covington's Christwood Retirement Home community through October 28th. There'll be an opening reception for the exhibit as well as a book signing. And that book is terrific, that new book, by the way, by Rulak Toledano. And that is tomorrow on the September 9th from 4:30 to 6:30. Really, congratulations on all that. And she's so well, she deserves this attention, you know. And before we go to Dennis to give us an update of the newly restored Westwego Performing Arts Theater, we have with us their September 15th opening season act, the Big Easy Boys, Rich Arnold, Jonathan Drury, Mark Fushi, and Michael Tarabella with So Happy Together.
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight. So happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, and you say you belong to me, and ease my mind. Imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy together. For me is you, and you for me, so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Me and you and me, no matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me, so happy together.
don't miss the Big Easy Boys at the Westwego Performing Arts Center from September 15th to October the 1st. Visit jpas.org for ticket information. And now, Dennis. So, Dennis, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, how many years ago was there a hurricane or something happened?
The Westwego Performing Arts Theater is a hurricane magnet. August 29, 2005, Katrina knocked it out. And fortunately, we were able to get it back in business in 6 months. August the 29th, 2012, Hurricane Isaac knocked it out, and it's taken 5 years to get it back. It's a completely renovated theater.
Wow.
All new seats.
How many seats?
255.
Okay, that's a good size.
Yeah, it's got great acoustics. We have all new sound and lighting equipment. The orchestra pit will hold 22 musicians. Great acoustics, new sound lights, all new cloth. Curtains, new fly system, new lobby. It's a new building.
It's a new building.
It's a new day.
It's in I guess you call it downtown Westwego.
It's in the
older
historic
part.
Sala Avenue district. Yeah. It's got beautiful cobblestone sidewalks and French Quarter style lighting. It's a charming place.
And there's also Teatro Wego. Tell us about that.
Teatro Wego is our cabaret space, which is the building right in front of the Westwego Performing Arts Theater. It's the historic Westwego Community Center, which we have renamed Teatro Wego.
Yeah, because Butch was on with us
Yeah,
a few
it's a
weeks
former
back,
automobile dealership, believe it or not, once upon a time, yeah. So it's a historic, everything on Sala Avenue is untouchable. It's a historic area of town. It's only 4 blocks long, you know.
Now, I know most of your time, though, of course, is spent on Airline Highway at JPAS. And tell us about the new season you've got coming up.
Well, we've got our brochure here. You can call the office to get your brochure. We are producing 14 different productions this season. And there will be times throughout the season where you could see a show either in Westwego or at the new Performing Arts Center on Airline on the same night. But we're very excited that we're going to be bringing back dinner theater in Teatro Wego. So you can come have a meal courtesy of the Happy Italian Pizzeria in Harahan and restaurant. We have samples of food at Butch Care's final performance. Everybody loved it. So we're going to start off with Sunday only food service for each of the Sunday performances for only $15 of the Big Easy Boys. Right now we've got 4 productions up in the air. We started rehearsals for Chicago last week. The Big Easy Boys are about to open. And something I'm extremely excited about, being an alumnus of Loyola University College of Music, we are partnering with the theater department at Loyola to produce Caroline or Change, which is a very historic theater piece written by award winner Tony Kushner.
Oh, from Lake Charles.
Yeah, and it's about, it's semi-autobiographical. It's a Jewish family growing up in St. Charles, and they have an African-American maid, and it takes place during the 60s turmoil and the assassination of President Kennedy. And the score is absolutely fantastic. Great music. It's almost sung through like an opera. Very little dialogue. So it's a half African-American and white cast, and it's kind of prescient that Tony Kushner wrote this. At the end of the show, they talk about there's Confederate monuments in Lake Charles, and one of the actors says something to the effect of, one day they're going to take that down. So it's we're not trying to make a political statement.
No.
We're just trying to do great theater.
Right.
And we're very excited about this partnership. And we're actually trying to get Tony Kushner to come down and do some master classes with the students at Loyola. So keep an eye out for that.
Very good. So for more details, jpas.org, I guess.
That's correct,
Well,
yeah.
once again, congratulations. There's a
Honored
lot
to
of
be here.
stuff, a lot
Yeah.
of plates spinning here, yes.
Thank you.
And now time for our picks. John.
Well, I have 2 shows. We're talking about contemporary art. One is at the Newcomb Museum of Art, and it's The Unfamiliar again. That's 7 women artists, most of whom are from New York, so you get to see New York contemporary art, Louisiana, and everything else. And then on the North Shore in Covington at the St. Tammany Art Association, The Intimacy of Plein Air Paintings by Peg Usner. Really good plein air
She's
painter.
terrific.
She is very
She's
good.
a terrific artist, yeah. So excited about her. She's very prolific, too, isn't she?
Yes, in fact, she's teaching classes over there now, too.
Oh,
so
good.
we have little workshops, so that's a lot of fun.
Good. Poppy.
In this glorious weather, there's 2 great fun food things to do this weekend. Burger Fest at Crescent Park down in the Bywater. Love that place. Incredible burgers to eat, great music, and Farm and Table Jamboree, which is outside at the convention center.
All right. Earl, now your Facebook page, if anybody maybe has a really nifty picture of a streetcar.
I'd love to have it.
So go to your Facebook page,
Right,
does that
it's
sound
just
right?
Earl Hampton.
Earl Hampton.
Right,
Okay,
you can
great.
message me there.
Yeah, Dennis.
2 quickies for Big Easy Boys opening September 15th. We're going to donate 50% of the proceeds to the Alley Theater that was
Oh,
destroyed in
Houston.
Houston.
Yeah.
And secondly, we're
Oh.
working on our 22nd annual Pasta and Puccini Gala fundraiser. This year, the theme is a cabaret, and our headliner for Chicago, playing the role of Billy Flynn, is Patrick Ryan Sullivan, a Broadway actor who's going to make an appearance at Pasta
Oh, this is
and
October
Puccini.
20th, I
October
understand.
20th, yeah,
Very
at the
good.
Sheraton.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you.
That's become a big deal.
Yeah.
That's your important fundraiser every
Yeah.
year. Congrats.
Thank you.
And my pick's Ronnie Vergitz. We love Ronnie. He'll be signing a brand new book called Saints and Lesser Souls, the New Orleans Views of Ronnie Vergitz at Garden District Bookshop on of course, at Britannia. And it's next Tuesday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And to celebrate the band U2's upcoming performance in New Orleans, Father Bill Miller will be holding a mass service this Sunday titled U2charist at Christ Episcopal Church in Covington, featuring songs from U2's extensive career. Father Miller will also hold a presentation called The Gospel According to U2 on Wednesday. Visit Christ Episcopal's website for more information. And looking ahead, don't miss the Louisiana Philharmonic's Orchestra performing Bolero, Ravel's Bolero, along with Gershwin's Piano Concerto in F, at the Orpheum Theater. That's on September 14th and 16th, as well as at the First Baptist Church in Covington on September 15th. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you for watching. Good night.